Hello, this is Patricia from Help Desk of Guretruck company. Today I have prepared for you a short review of the latest transport news. So please take a look at the information that I found. Give me a second, I have to share my screen for you. I really enjoy looking through trans.info platform. This is we can find there quite interesting news of transport industry. So the first news is from sender is regarding to transport industry. It's about sender. Sender announces agreement to acquire S.H. Robinson's European surface transportation operations. European digital road freight forwarder Sender has announced its acquisition of the European surface transportation (EST) operations of C.H. Robinson. In a press release, Sender confirmed that via the transaction, EST will become part of Sender and as a result deliver significant growth potential, unlock the full power of network density and technology for the European road freight industry and accelerate decarbonization efforts. According to Sender, the combined business will become a top 5 full truckload player in Europe, with a combined revenue of 1.4 billion euros, a team of around 1,700 people, and support more than 20 locations. In addition to this, the deal will bring a total of over 6,500 shippers and over 15,000 to the Sender network. Sender says that the acquisition will also expand shipper and carrier proposition through access to efficient network planning and to competitive capacity, as well as to a broader array of freight opportunities via Sender's proprietary platform ZenOS. Shipper will gain access to the aforementioned platform, while carriers will benefit from higher utilization, fewer empty kilometers, faster payments, and technology that reduces their administrative workload. The company also claims that all customers will benefit from a boost in efficiency in load management, increased operational transparency, and superior service quality. The closing of the transaction remains subject to the completion of the corporate structuring of the EST business units to be acquired, as well as mandatory employee consultation and the applicable merger control proceedings, and is expected to close in Q4 2024. Okay, so that's it. Now we have something about Catalonian authorities that received delivery of remote tachograph checking equipment. The Catalan Moses will be able to detect work and rest time violations without stopping the truck. The government of Catalonia has acquired 8 devices, thanks to which the regional police, which is called, I'm sorry for my pronunciation, Mossos de Esquadra, will be able to detect excessive driving times by professional drivers without having to stop the vehicle for control. Remote control devices will also allow for the detection of tempered tachographs. These are the first devices of this type in Spain. Their acquisition fits into the strategy of digitization of a control process, promoted by the General Directive of Transport and Mobility of the Territorial Department. The aim is to promote sustainable competition in the road transport sector, as well as to increase safety on Catalan roads. The equipment was handed over to the services last Thursday. Police officers will use it for mobile checks on Catalan roads. Innovative checkpoints. The Catalan government wants to use the same technology in special stationary checkpoints, which are to be built by the beginning of 2025 in 5 locations on Catalan roads. They will appear on the AP7 motorway, where they were located toll collection points, where the Lagosta toll gate was located. An innovative system will appear at new permanent control points, which will not only detect tachograph manipulation and working time violations, but also will capture overloaded vehicles and trucks emitting too much exhaust fumes. In case of any of these violations, the camera will record the license plate, and a few meters away further, a message will be displayed on the board above the road asking the driver to stop. Then there will be an inspection by Catalan police officers. They will be able to issue a ticket. The total cost of purchasing 8 sensors and installing 5 digital control points will be €3.9 million and will be financed from European Union funds. That's very interesting, right? So we will see how it will work in Catalonia. Now I have something about Poland, because I also am looking through Polish websites regarding Polish, not only Polish, but that contain news, transport news from the industry. And we have something about crisis in the Polish transport industry. What legal changes can the sector save? There is a discussion in the transport sector about the significant changes facing the industry. Entrepreneurs are demanding assistance from the state and new regulations that remodel the current way of funding of transport companies. What are the difficulties of the sector, and what changes have the potential to solve current problems? First of all, we have the financial collapse. Polish transport is facing a serious financial crisis. Recently, a significant number of companies have been forced to liquidate some of the fleet and employee redundancies. In order to survive, entrepreneurs are looking for savings, and this is particularly difficult in the face of rising labor costs. The crisis is also exacerbated by the reduced demand for transport services caused by a pop-and-dump decline in production and the number of orders. And the second case is uneven competition from the east, especially Ukraine. And other third country carriers. This includes lower operating costs, that lack of the need to have permits for bilateral transport between Poland and Ukraine, a small number of roadside inspections of foreign carriers conducted by the Road Transport Inspectorate, or entry to Poland with large fuel reserves. In the case of the latter, this puts Polish companies limited by the fuel limits imposed by the EU at a disadvantage and at the same time negatively affects the state budget. The problematic mobility package, of course, is another case. Numerous difficulties are generated by the regulations of the mobility package, mainly through regulations, rising costs of the implementation, negative impact on working conditions and competitiveness. This forces many transport companies to limit or even cease their businesses, regardless of their size or position on the market. An additional burden is the absurdities resulting from poorly functioning regulations. This includes the obligation to return the fleet to the parent base even 3 weeks, even if it is far from the main transport routes. I don't get this point. Actually, what about CO2 and what about the ecology? This point is without any sense for me. But that's my opinion, not only mine, as we see here, but this is really not fair when we take a look at, for example, companies from third countries. So yeah, that's it. Unfair ordering of services. Unfair practices related to the outsourcing of services to unauthorized entities are also common. The problem stems from the lack of verification of the rights of carriers and leads to unfair competition and lowering services standards. Unallowed companies often offer lower prices without incurring the cost of licenses and insurance, which in effect destabilize the market. This is due to the lack of precise legal regulations. It would be helpful in this respect to establish rules for the commission of national and international road haulage of things. This would also apply to cabotage operations by entities acting as freight forwarders, broadcasters, or subcontractors. Abuse of permits for international transport. Appropriate regulations also require the spreading problem of abuse of permits for international road transport. The lack of effectiveness monitoring and control allows carriers to carry out roads to which they are not entitled. In turn, falsifying documents and the regulations cause that legally operating companies lose their income and market position. Green but problematic transport. As I said before, the transport sector is still facing significant difficulties in introducing green transport. Insufficient number of charging stations and their limited availability make it difficult to quickly replenish the energy of vehicles. This is most felt by truck drivers whose batteries require longer power time. In addition, high purchase prices for electric vehicles pose additional concerns about the profitability of such investment. The Polish transport industry is currently facing many challenges. The introduction of new regulations, effective systemic solutions, and financial support are crucial for the recovery of this sector. It is also necessary to increase investment in charging infrastructure for electric vehicles in order to enable the effective introduction of green transport. Yes, and I have also one more website. It's called 40ton.net. It's also a Polish portal, and I found quite interesting paragraph about Ukraine and Poland. And it is we have here a comparison to Spain and Morocco situation. So with the situation. The EU-Ukrainian transport agreement has shown to have a huge impact on the carriers operating the eastern routes. When we look at the latest statistics in this area, we can even find a similar resemblance to transport between Europe and North Africa. A few weeks ago, the Spanish Association Fenadismer published a report on the work of Spanish carriers. One of the topics discussed was the transport permits between Spain and Morocco. It turned out that American transport companies use full 80,000 permits a year in this direction, while Spanish companies use only 8,000 documents. In other words, trucks from Spain make 10 times fewer roads to Morocco than vehicles from Morocco to Spain. All this despite the very close economic cooperation between these countries and even the existence of two Spanish exclaves in Africa, Melilla and Ceuta, I don't know how to spell it, I'm sorry, squeezed between Morocco and the Mediterranean. Meanwhile, we are moving to our eastern border. As reported by Polish carrier associations, at the moment, trucks from Poland carry out only 9% of road trade with Ukraine. The rest were overrun by fast-growing transport companies from Ukraine. So we have a very similar relationship as in Moroccan Spanish transport. However, with this proviso that in the Spaniards many years ago they lost the competition for Morocco or managed to re-register some of the fleets to Morocco. But for companies from Poland, such a small market share is a new and surprising situation. Finally, 2 years ago, before the EU-Ukraine agreement changed the rules, Polish trucks handled 46% of the transport to Ukraine. All these can indicate a very specific dependency. It is similar. It simply seems that transport companies registered in the European Union simply don't have a chance to compete with carriers from across the EU border. Yeah, I think that we will end here. Thank you for your attention. See you next week on Monday at 12 as usual. Thank you for your attention once again, and I wish you a nice weekend. Thank you.